The world needs food, and that need is growing. It's growing faster than the available land for agriculture. Farmers are called upon to produce food for a growing world. But farmers won't have to go it alone. New genetics are growing stronger and more productive plants. Today's plants are also more drought resistant, and the growing numbers of farmers using irrigation are making weather less of a liability. Yet, as strong as the innovations will be, one of the elements farmers can use, and likely be required to master, is tillage. No matter what technology comes for tomorrow's crops, the management of soil, water, and residue will always be crucial to maximizing yields. Increasingly, it's become clear just how much tillage matters to the success of your farm and how managing your tillage practices can pay off now and for years to come.
It's just been 30 years now that I've been a sunflower. But when I started in this business, the benchmark was 100 bushel. If you had a 100 bushel corn crop, you had a pretty good crop. And there were the fellows that had 125 and 150, and those were big numbers. Well, today, if it's not 200, you're pretty much a failure. So that's just in one generation. We've more than doubled it. So conceivably, 300 bushel will be something that will be attained in the future.
So to meet these new challenges, we're introducing several new tillage tools to give farmers ways to address the requirements of today's farming environment. To achieve superior yields, farmers must control the growing conditions. This means seeds must be placed in a uniform seed bed. Germinating plants must not be impeded by residue. Plants must have access to water. Compaction layers must not impede growth, and reversal of significant issues such as ruts and weeds. Sunflower has had a tradition of building innovative tools farmers can rely on. When you own a sunflower tool, you can expect performance, innovation, ruggedness, durability, and decades of experience built right in.
There is a trust there, and it's an earned trust. I mean, the company's been building tillage equipment since the mid-40s. I've been involved in it since the early 80s. So over the years, it's been by having the tool actually perform and doing what we told the customer it would do. And then as a company standing behind that and assuring and seeing to the tool actually fulfilling those promises. So farmers have given us their trust and bought our equipment and have learned that the brand does deliver.
Our tools do what they're supposed to by the way they're designed and their ease of use. We bring new ideas and insight to tillage rather than just copying those around us. Our tools are built to a higher standard, and they last while requiring less maintenance. We spend enough time in enough places to know what gets the job done right. The disc harrow is a time-tested tool used to manage residue, level fields, and perform a variety of tillage tasks. When a disc is doing its job, it should size residue to manageable pieces, blend residue into soil to speed up decomposition and deter erosion, break up clods, and level the field. To do the job right, a disc harrow must have weight, gang placement that leaves an evenly worked surface, a design that allows for good flow of material, balance across the tool, and ease of use.
It's a clean piece of paper, engineer started from scratch. The frames are longer, they're heavier. There's more 3/8-inch thick sidewall steel in this tool than anything else that we're building in the disc harrow line. There are more stringers in it, 4 1/2 for strength. But the balance side of it, the deeper frame, the longer frame, enables us to put the wheel set towards the rear to achieve that balance that we're talking about, to put these heavier attachments on it. Not being required as a farmer, setting the tool one way with 4 1/2 level to perform properly in the field, and then leaving that field going to another field and having to transport the tool on the highway. You're not having to re-level the tool to accommodate that. So when you pick the tool up, fold it, you've got adequate transport clearance on the finishing attachment to go to the field and enter the field and start working immediately without having to reset the tool from transport to field settings. So UHMW used throughout the tool on all the pivot and flex points. Addition of the 3 different reels that are available for the unit as finishing attachments. I mean, we've got, I guess we're up to 5 finishing attachments for the 1436 alone now. So we're using much larger tires, heavier spindles, 2 3/4 and 2.5 inch spindles, depending on the model. So the unit is built to be more aggressive in the field, but it's also built to handle the transport demands of today's farmers too. So.
The offset design of the 1436 avoids the possible soil collisions and reduced uniformity that a tandem design can create. The overlapping gangs on the 1436 eliminate the need for a center section. The center section used by our competitors increases the likelihood of inconsistent results across the field. The 1436 frame has fewer axes on which to pivot than other designs. Where other brands of disc harrows have more wheel axes, the frame will respond more to every obstacle. The Sunflower 1436 disc harrow set a new standard on this trusted tool. It's designed to give you high performance time and time again in all the ways it matters. A chisel plow is designed to break shallow to mid-level compaction for better water management and reduced root resistance while also breaking up the resultant clods. To do the job right, a chisel plow must have the design, balance, and load tolerance to keep the tool in the ground at a set depth. The shank spacing must be close enough to ensure full shatter, and the frame design and shank placements must allow for clear flow of material while discouraging buildup. Finally, a chisel plow should offer the finishing attachments that break up clods and level the surface.
This one we're excited about, and the fact that as the disc harrow had to evolve to meet demands, the chisel plow has to as well. And we offer 2 different shanks on this one now. So we're at 650 pounds, which for some of the lighter soils is more than sufficient, but we also have a 1,000-pound point load shank for the heavier soils and people that are needing to maximize the depth of the tool. So it's quite a change from a shank that was, I think, maxed out at 400 pounds, 450, somewhere in that neighborhood on our previous model. This tool is available with the quad hitch or the floating frame, and we're very excited about the development of this 2500. This one has got a lot of 3/8 inch steel tubing in it. It has the cross bracing rather than the conventional right angle joint. They're in there at a 45-degree angle, traversing from top left to lower right of the frame, if you will. And that channels that draft then evenly out through the frame rather than concentrating it in a right angle corners.
Now moving into its second decade, vertical tillage practices have had time and opportunity to be observed and improved. The aim for vertical tillage practices is to manage residue and open soil for warming and drying while minimizing horizontal movement of the soil, a situation that can cause compaction layers to form. A vertical tillage tool should size residue for more rapid decomposition, pin and incorporate residue for enhanced erosion resistance, and lift soil vertically for partial sizing, soil warming, and soil drying while avoiding compaction layers from the lateral movement of soil. To do the job right, a tool must have sharp blades and the ability to lift an adequate amount of soil for incorporation. Not all vertical tillage tools are the same, and it pays to know where they're different. As agronomists and tillage engineers have had time to study the designs and effects of various tools, vertical tillage tools have progressed with more effective residue management, more vertical lifting of soil as opposed to horizontal lifting, and better ease of use. Early vertical tillage tools appeared much like gangs of coulters. These tools cut residue but did little to pin and incorporate residue for erosion management or decomposition. Some competitors use smooth blades, but with a degree of concavity that only stirs surface soil. These tools essentially work much like a disc harrow. While they can incorporate surface residue, they do it by moving soil horizontally, the very condition vertical tillage is supposed to avoid. Other tools use wavy blades that are more effective than smooth blades at lifting soil, but still struggle to create enough surface level disturbance. These tools also lose much of their effectiveness when the blades become dull. The next generation Sunflower 6631 uses saber blades. Saber blades pair a fluted design with a low concavity that creates a soil lifting action that can't be duplicated by a conventional spherical disc blade. Saber blades pair a fluted design with a low concavity that creates a soil lifting action that can't be duplicated by a conventional spherical disc blade. Each blade has 25 fold depth flutes and features an innovative sawtooth design that maintains its cutting edge.
We wanted the edge to be common so that we have a clean, continuous cutting edge, kind of like a pair of scissors, if you will. And it's got a sawtooth on it, which on the edge, which actually maintains a sharp cutting edge on the blades. Putting a gang angle to it, but limiting the amount of lateral movement by just the nature of the blade, not just the concavity, low concavity. Some of our other competitors have that low concavity, but our flutes, if you will, our pockets actually direct the soil upwards. So we lift it rather than using a concavity to roll it. And there's really no other blade out there that does it like the Sunflower Saber blade does.
If you're serious about tillage and the results managing it well can have for your yields, it's time to connect with what Sunflower can do for you. Tillage matters, and the farmers that know it choose Sunflower.